Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs just made sports history when the Chiefs signed their MVP quarterback to a 10-year deal. Now, the Mavs have their own future MVP in Luka Doncic, and today I'm going to tell you why I would sign him to his very own 10-year deal if the NBA would allow it. Now, Luka Doncic is just 21 years old, and he's accomplished more in 2 years than any second-year player has, arguably of all time. Now, since he's come into the league, since being a rookie sensation, he has been labeled as a generational talent. And if the NBA would allow it, which they don't because there are salary cap rules, yeah, I would happily sign him to a 10-year contract. So scrap what his current contract is, give him 10 years starting today, going until he's 31 years old. I would do it in a heartbeat. Now, when you look at the first 2 years of Luka Doncic's career, it has been absolutely spectacular. He has exceeded expectations. He's averaging 24.4 points per game, 7.1 assists, 8.5 rebounds, and shooting a little better than 32% from three. Again, the three-point percentage, probably the only knock on Luka's game as of right now, but I still think that will come around. Now, before I give you more stats about how good Luka Doncic has been at such a young age, I'm going to ask you Mavs fans right now, would you sign our current star, our future MVP, to a 10-year contract if that 10-year contract started today? Type Y for yes, type N for no. I think this is an easy answer, and if it's not an easy answer, I'm sure I'll have you convinced by the end of this video. Now let's compare Luka Doncic to some of the greats of all time. One of the most spectacular things Luka has done is record triple-doubles at an incredible rate. Through his first 100 games, he recorded the second most triple-doubles compared to any other player through their first 100 games. Oscar Robertson had 44. Nobody's ever going to touch that record. Meanwhile, Luka had 17, which is more than Ben Simmons at 14 and more than Magic Johnson at 10. Now, when you look at the triple-doubles they've recorded before turning just 21 years old, nobody's going to touch Luka Doncic for a long, long time. Before turning 21, so as a 19/20-year-old, Luka put up 22 triple-doubles, an unprecedented amount. The next closest was Magic Johnson with 7, followed by LeBron James with 5. So Luka Doncic doing these triple-doubles before turning 21 speaks to the fact that if he can do it at such a young age, he's going to be able to do it for a long time coming, for the next 10, maybe even the next 20 years. Now, when you look at two guys, there's only two players in the entire NBA who have scored 2,000 points, grabbed 750 rebounds, and dished out at least 500 assists in their first 100 games as an NBA player. Luka Doncic and Oscar Robertson. Now, Oscar Robertson had way more points. Actually, not way more, but a good amount more of points than Luka at 3,040. Luka had 2,332 points through his first 100 games. Oscar Robertson over 1,000 rebounds. Meanwhile, Luka was at 828. Oscar Robertson with over 1,000 assists. Luka Doncic, meanwhile, at 681. Now, those numbers are ridiculous, but here's the thing. Oscar Robertson wasn't shooting three-pointers back then because three-pointers did not exist. And Oscar Robertson, through his first 100 games, was 3 years older than Luka Doncic was at 20 years old. So if Luka can do this as a 20-year-old and now as a 21-year-old, imagine what he's going to be doing to the NBA for the next 10 years of his career. I'm telling you, you don't want to let this kid walk. Now, the last thing, and this isn't really compared to the all-time greats, but maybe some of the better players in the NBA right now and some of the younger guys, he's made more three-pointers than anybody of all time through their first 100 games at 250, followed by Damian Lillard at 235, and Donovan Mitchell had 229 through his first 100 games. Now, I stacked him up against some of the all-time greats and gave you all of his stats of what he did at such a young age and through his first 100 games as an NBA player, but there's a lot more to this. That's why I want to break this video into two parts. So we're going to have part 2 coming out very, very soon where I compare him to some of the other, what are 31-year-old all-time greats, because at the end of 10 years, Luka's still just going to be 31 years old. So stay tuned for that and stay tuned here on All Things Mavs.